discussion is innovations at exchange marketplace and their impact on physical markets. To moderate this session, may invite Mr. Bhargav Vaidya, PN Vaidya and Associates. Joining him in the panel is Mr. Nagendra Kumar, National Stock Exchange, Mr. Shivanshu Mehta, MCX, Mr. Haresh Acharya, Parker Precious Metals LLP, Mr. Dilip Narayanan, Malabar Group of Companies, and Mr. Amar Singh, JP Morgan. I welcome all the panelists to the discussion. And with this, I hand over the session control to Mr. Bhargav Vaidya. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Sorry, I must have missed a little bit. Let me first welcome this panel, and I will have a short introduction of the panel. We have got a very illustrious group of experts, and I like to call myself a humble student. So I learned in college. I used to get some awards as the best student. So maybe I'll be very attentive, and if Srivastava has the award, I'll try to say that I get an award as a student. I don't know where to start, but let me start with the person I know for the longest period. Now, I'll always use the word Vasu, but his name is Haresh Acharya, and he is the most popular bullion dealer in India. I don't know of any bullion committee or any organization who does not want him in his board or his committee or any of the things. He's the most popular person in Indian bullion industry and a very large and knowledgeable bullion dealer who has now diversified into refining also. So let's welcome Mr. Haresh Acharya. Second, I would say the person again from, I know because of his Ahmedabad base, where he started from, and he has traveled a lot all over the globe now. I'm referring to Amar Singh. He's representing JP Morgan just now, but has excellent knowledge about India and has been a part of a bullion dealers team. And the amount of innovations he did at that time was mind-boggling. We were just learners, and he could structure a fantastic profit for his company out of thin air. And I think wherever he is there, the bullion division makes maximum profit. Not strange that JP Morgan has reported huge profit. So we have Amar Singh with a vast experience of Indian and international market. Then person who I met after that was Dilip. He represents a very, very popular jewelry group in India and Middle East, which is Malabar. And there also he has done a lot of innovations. He has been bringing changes regularly. But what we best know him is for his contribution and being part of a very, very, very popular and successful bullion team in India with Scotia and Makata Bullion. So we have Dilip. Dilip, I think your video is not there. You may just start that. Then after that, the person who I met was Shivanshu. Shivanshu, I think he is most busy collecting awards all over the country for the share of bullion business he has in exchanges. It has been a very long time that maybe MCX may start that they should send somebody else for taking awards so they feel there is some change. Shivanshu has been very active with the market and perhaps one of the best known faces in Indian exchange industry. And last but not the least is our friend Nagendra Kumar. I would like to add a word here. There was a huge knowledge about institutional trading and everything which he comes with NSE. But amount of effort which he has put in for research and development and creating meticulously every step on it, and the amount of study tools which he has taken, not only which has would have helped himself and his organization, but the entire trade is benefited. So with this great team, let us start with today's discussion. And since I'm lucky that I'm the moderator, I can have the first little bit of a statement saying that what I feel about innovation would be. I think what I've seen in India, that we were a very large bullion trading community with lot of products, and which we lost everything in 60s when we had Gold Control Act, and now we are reinventing everything. There were a lot of products are just reinvented, but there is scope of a few new. One of my dreams is that if we have this exchanges in our market which can work out a product which can get the old gold out of the system, which I would say that just like we have stock lending and borrowing system in the stock exchange, if we can do something like that in this commodity market, at least for gold, we will have lot of benefit, and it will have some business for Vasu to you also, because all the gold has to be refined and properly delivered, and both the exchanges will have something because they have their own things planned out, and all the other players will be happy. And if they want to hedge, Amar is always available if Indian hedging is not enough. So let's see, and local dealers and everything, how we can go forward. Let me start with then Vasu, you. What would you expect the next innovation which should be done? You know, you have been talking a lot about exports and everything. Can we work out a system that all the exchanges are fungible, and even DMCC and Comex and London is fungible? And how you feel that the Indian industry and the refining industry is geared up for it?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for giving me this kind your supports and everything, sir. And I will speak in Hindi because so many people are in speaking in Hindi. So please bear with me. And अभी हम जब बात कर रहे हैं इनोवेशंस के लिए, तो इनोवेशंस बुलियन इंडस्ट्रीज को 2003 में एक स्टार्टिंग मिला था, जो जिग्नेश शाह ने MCX का ओपन किया था, और एक एक्सचेंज हेजिंग का शुरुआत हुआ था. वैसे तो देखा जाए तो 1996 में जब भी हम लोग गोल्ड SIL से इंपोर्ट कर रहे थे, तो भार्गव भाई फर्स्ट टाइम अहमदाबाद आए थे, और उनके साथ आप सिंह नमवी थे जो MKS फाइनेंस से, अभी जब मारवान साहब हमारे साथ थे, तो उनके साथ आए थे, और वी आर इंपोर्टिंग विथ SIL, special import license, through gold. On that time we know each other, almost 25 years हो गया है, और उस टाइम पे मेरा एज भी 18 साल का था. पर आज हम लोग ये डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि इनोवेशंस क्या हुआ. तो जैसे जैसे टाइम इंडिया का 97 से गोल्ड ओपन हुआ, उसके बाद 2003 में MCX का एक एक्सचेंज शुरू हुआ, और उसमें हेजिंग वगैरह का हुआ. उसके बाद आज 2020 में अभी इंडिया का जैसे इंपोर्ट बढ़ता गया, हर साल 800 टन का अप्रोक्स गोल्ड इंपोर्ट है, और 800 टन से ही ज्यादा शायद स्क्रैप जनरेशन है, जो अनऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर के थ्रू रूट हो रहा था. तो गवर्नमेंट ने उसको NABL, BIS और इंडियन गुड स्टैंडर्ड उन्होंने दिए, और उसके हिसाब से अभी रिफाइनरी इंडिया गुड स्टैंडर्ड डिलीवरी के तौर पे शुरू हुआ. और NSE ने ये शुरुआत बहुत प्रॉपरली और बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से उन्होंने इसको स्टेप बाय स्टेप लेके किया. उन्होंने 5 या 6 रिफाइनरियों को एग्रीगेट किया, जिसमें उनका ऑडिट भी जो LBMA रिफाइनर्स के ऑडिट थे उनके थ्रू ऑडिट करवाया गया. और ये आगे जाके अभी MCX को इसके साथ, NSE के साथ और MCX को भी इसमें बहुत इनोवेटिव काम करना है, क्योंकि जो इंडिया का आज का वॉल्यूम है, हम 17 साल से एक एक्सचेंज चला रहे हैं, पर जिसका हमारा जो टोटल इंपोर्ट के सामने जो हमारा वॉल्यूम का जो क्वांटम होना चाहिए, वो 10 to 15% से ज्यादा नहीं है. यानी बाकी का 85% मार्केट के पास से वॉल्यूम आना है. वो कैसे MCX और NSE या BSE सब साथ में मिलके कैसे करेंगे, और इसको कैसे हम लोग एंड यूजर तक यानी कंज्यूमर तक हम एक फाइनल प्रॉपर प्रोडक्ट पहुंचा सकते हैं। इसके लिए अभी हम लोग शुरुआत में गिफ्ट सिटी के लिए जो इंटरनेशनल एक्सचेंज आ रहा है, जिसमें हमारे इंटरनेशनल सप्लायर भी पार्टिसिपेशन कर सकेंगे, और पृथ्वीराज जी ने कहा कि जिसमें लोकल सप्लायर भी हम लोग उसमें पार्टिसिपेशन कैसे कर सके, ऐसा कुछ मैकेनिज्म हम सबको साथ में मिलके बनाना पड़ेगा, या एक्सचेंज को के लिए सोचना पड़ेगा कि हम इसमें डिलीवरी कैसे दे सके, इंडिया गुड डिलीवरी भी दे सके और LBA में भी डिलीवरी कर सके। उसमें कोई इश्यू नहीं है कि हम लोग फाइनल प्रोडक्ट ऐसा दे कि हर एक एंड यूजर तक वो पहुंच सके। यानी
Yeah, that's fine. And, you were Vasu very clear, and you were praising the exchanges for their whatever developments they have done and about delivery. Amar bhai, let me come to you second. Next, what will be your dream for India? Suppose you want to say that in next 2 minutes, the new innovations, and which innovation you will be of the last few innovations, say the most important one.
So I think first of all, very good afternoon to all of you. And Bhargav sir, you are always sir, and you will remain sir. So we are still your students. So please let us be student and continue to learn from you. Whenever you talk, we learn something. So I think from my perspective, I think other than, of course, some of the exchanges which have come up, other thing, I'll just take 2 minutes just to say what I think has really happened in last 20 years since I have been associated with this, all of you fortunately. And I have been in every seat, like I have been at trading side, trader side, I have been at Indian bank side, I have been at the international supplier side. The only piece missing is refinery, which I think Vasu Bhai is here to possibly comment upon. The other big development in my view is the free zone. So free zone is the next, I think, and of course third thing is, I would say the first thing is exchanges to good delivery refinery, and third in these steps are the free zone, and the fourth which is missing is how do we make it more effective international. Like today, the only way possibly the business can happen, I mean import can happen, is we supply to Indian banks or some agencies like MMTC, STC. How it can be more efficient, and I think that's where possibly looking at how things have evolved in last 5 years, I would say exchanges have to innovate and do a better thing. And it could be either Gift City. I think Gift City really does, like kind of mix of both, which is where international participant like me possibly can store the metal, as well as where you people can access through this exchange. So I would say this is the next step I would foresee, which will really help, the Indian market to continue to source metal at a very effective price and on the time. This is one thing I think, Bhargav sir, I would like. The second thing, one word earlier session was used. This year, there are two words which international market use very effectively. One is EFP, and the other one is ETF. Whenever you say, people say ETF flows, and the other thing is EFP, there's very big dislocation. I would say exchanges should possibly work to launch exchange traded ETF, and I think somehow access to our population, larger population through equity market, where or that market which people understand, I would say could be another. I would say it's not getting gold back from the people hand, but at least try to replace some of the new acquisition which people might do on the horizon to come. So I'll take a pause. I would say these two things should be on really to-do list, and I think it's more doable at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you. I think Dilip is too busy, must be doing some deals. So anyway, we'll trouble you a little bit later. I was about to trouble you, but let me ask Nagendra sir, you have been the youngster of the group. You have been, but with the amount of knowledge which you have and the importance you have given to education, what you feel would be the most important innovation which this industry can get in near future? Let's be short in 2 minutes, please.
Oh, you have complimented at the same time you have put a gun. Just given me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So actually, it's nice to get connected. I mean, in this virtual mode, we should thank IIGC for making this happen. I would have felt happier if it was in a physical mode, because the memories of our last Amritsar event is still afresh. So I think, we have to put onus on Srivatsav that he chooses an exotic location next year for the event. So see, from the time we spoke last year in Amritsar event till date, there were two critical things which have happened on the exchange platform. One is we have launched refiner standards, which everybody has talked about. And the unfortunate thing there is that it is still not noticed. I mean, for the simple reason that in India, you get attention only if you have liquidity. And people should understand that, nobody loves exchanges. People love only the liquidity that the exchanges offer. So we are trying to sow seeds, and we are hopeful that sooner or later we will reap benefits there. But I actually look for platforms like this to thank people who have helped us in coming up with these standards. Special thanks to SEBI team, BIS, the entire NABL team, Mr. Som, Kutari ji, Vasubai, Sudesh, and Surendra Mehta ji. I mean, without their efforts, I wouldn't have been in a position to launch these standards at NSE. The second interesting thing is the options on goods. Again, I mean, would want to thank the regulator for allowing exchanges to launch options on goods. As we speak, all three exchanges in India have this product, but options being NSE's focus and forte, we have been able to display our thought leadership there, and we have peaked to close to 7,000 lots in open interest. And as we speak, we are close to 3,500 lots. And here our objective has been very simple. I mean, you use the right word saying education, right? So the way we have started educating people is that we are explaining the product in terms of the risk that they will face. I mean, we're not going to tell them what is the alpha that you will generate by getting into a strategy. We only tell them by getting into the strategy, this is the maximum risk that you will encounter or face. So the concept is simple. I mean, here I go by the principle saying that if somebody is aware of what is the maximum money he's going to lose, he's very well equipped to figure out, how much money he's going to make. So thank God, touch wood, that we are doing good in options. But do we call these innovations? Absolutely no. I mean, I don't want to call these as innovations. For me, as Vasubai rightly said, what Jignesh Bhai started 17 years ago, that's innovation. I mean, does it mean that we stop doing things? No, right? And Amar mentioned two critical aspects, ETF and EFP. How many of you attending this event know that NSE has launched an EFP model with a local swap? Nobody knows this. Nobody notices this because we don't have liquidity. But for the benefit of the participants, I mean, I have a model built in where if you have a futures position, you can convert it into a spot, and you can choose a location of your choice. I mean, I'm giving them 3 locations with a premium or discount. You can convert your futures into a spot model. And ETFs, I mean, Bhargav Bhai, the best about ETFs. I mean, we are the largest again because it's an equity product. We do close to 97% and 98% as far as gold ETFs are concerned. Gold Bs are most popular. And if somebody is looking at investing gold, with due respect to all the physical players, I mean, they would say buy physical, but I would definitely say buy an ETF. So that's one area which I wanted to highlight. And before I close, I mean, for deepening the market and for development, what I would say as the key thing, GIFT, since people have talked about GIFT, I don't want to touch about the International Bullion Exchange, which is going to come up. FPI participation. I mean, why shouldn't FPIs participate in bullion here, right? I mean, from a deepening the market, what if we allow co-location and if we bring in all the FPIs in at least non-agri markets and bullion markets? My personal opinion is that, it will deepen, it will reduce the impact cost, because if you look at the impact cost today, the bid ask is around 7 rupees because that's the cost because of the CTT, right? So this coupled with exchanges being alone to launch their own market making programs, I think it will go a long way in deepening the markets, Mr. Bhargav. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Why I was asking you to be for 2 minutes is because Srivastava had told me that if we those who finish in 2 minutes is going to give 100 grams of gold. If you take 4 minutes, 60 grams.
You should have told me this before. I would have been silent.
No, then you don't get exactly at 2 minutes. If you take 30 seconds more, 30 grams go. Anyway, Dilip, you have been everywhere. You have been the most. You knew all the jewelers in the country. You know all the bullion dealers in the country. If somebody does not know Dilip, or Dilip does not know someone, is not supposed to be an important player in the market. And now you are on the other side. You are a large, perhaps one of the largest jewelry house in the world, heading its treasury desk. What innovations you would like to think about? And one thing which I would request you to touch upon is, people in India perhaps mistake LBMA as a exchange. How will you differentiate OTC market from exchange, and what innovations from OTC we can adopt, and what you will expect new products in the market?
Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, Bhargav. After a long time, we're meeting, at least virtually now, and good afternoon to everybody, to all the panelists over here. Well, as you rightly mentioned, this is the other side of the table where I'm sitting after being with the bank for almost 25 years. So it's a new experience, really. I'm quite lucky that I'm getting associated with one of the largest retailers now in India and overseas. So, coming to your point, Bhargav, well, there is a misunderstanding of LBMA being treated as an exchange, and which is a fact. I mean, I have realized when I've joined over here that the awareness of an exchange is very less. As far as retailers are concerned, and I would say that retailers are concerned, when I say that, South India, especially in a place like Kerala, of course now the exchanges have started campaigning and then have been bringing up a lot of awareness campaigns all over, and I have seen this for the last 1 year pre-COVID. So there have been a lot of campaigns which I myself had attended. Yeah, the awareness is a little bit increasing, but I would still say that people still don't understand what is a LBMA or what is an exchange as such. That is one. Two, an OTC and an exchange. Well, we've been in both the sides. So as a retailer, OTC is something which the retailer would be more comfortable, I would say. But only thing is that the hedging part has been so all these exchanges, I would not call one exchange, especially because now, as Mr. Nagendra mentioned, I've started looking into NSE also. MCX has been something which in the sense like Malabar has been dealing it for years together. The hedging portfolio it's been very convenient with all these exchanges till now, and coming to the innovative part, well, I would not say innovative, but the new structure or the products which these exchanges are bringing in, like for example, Mr. Nagendra had explained a couple of months the options, which is still, I'm still started, but definitely it's one of those products which would suit any of the retailers in India as because of the schemes which they run. So definitely, I'm sure that even MCX would also have the same kind of. I'm not citing any of the exchanges here. This platform.
Don't give Shivanshu ideas, man. Come on.
Don't worry, I have.
So yeah, so
Yeah,
that's from my end, Bhargav. I hope I think
thank you.
clarified.
Thank you. Shivanshu, I'll request you to address two things. One is, what innovations you would like to speak about, and what Nagendra was saying. They have been very popular with ETF and all that. How important you feel a product like ETF or something to have digital gold on the exchange so that it's regulated? And I think the audience needs to know from both of you, you may start, that even if exchange wants to do something, it's a straight jacket they have to work with. The regulator would not straight away clear, and it is not a very innovative thing which they want to launch. It has to go through lot of hurdles and clarification. You may perhaps give it that little also 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bhargav bhai. So I'll come straight to the point. One is, first I'll talk about, because as a leading bullion exchange, it's like incumbent upon us to really keep innovating. So over the past, let's say 2 to 3 years, firstly, gold options on futures was launched about 3 years back. It has come of age. It has hit various landmarks during the lockdown period when the EFP itself, when the spot to futures divergence took place. So we saw an open interest of 9 metric tons in those options, continues to be about 5.5 tons. And the volumes, the turnover also commensurate with that. Silver options has also come of age. Now, the most important thing is that we try to contribute by way of creating organized, ways to invest in this asset class for the pure retail segment, for small investors. And that is where 2 of our products, one is the Gold Petal, which is the only such product in the world, which is a deliverable 1 gram gold contract. We launched it in 2019, October, and it has done exceedingly well. It has been, accepted by the market. We've done about 22,000 coins of 1 gram denomination for the first time in the world. The other one, during the period of lockdown, as you saw, silver and gold both attract the interest of investors globally, and quite, parallelly or in a planned way, we had actually launched a silver 1 kg, contract, silver 1 kg delivery-based contracts, silver mini and micro. And to our pleasant surprise, during this time period from February till, let's say, September, we have seen 22 metric tons of silver delivered via these 1 gram formats, which is a very pleasant surprise. These 2 innovations, I feel, have served the investor community where it needed most. Where it's basically the cornerstones of this product are, like you yourself mentioned, DMAT, the electronic holding and accumulation. The liquid order books, what it means is that liquidity begets liquidity. That's what they say. So order books which are deep, they allow for SIP to take place. So actually it allows for functionality and efficiency in such products where people can do an SIP. Now, apart from these 2, we recently launched the Bulldex, which is, an index of gold and silver futures, where we feel it may attract a portfolio-based approach, a portfolio presence for precious metals, being an index which is cash settled, which is monthly. So there again, we are seeing a turnover of, since the day 1, a healthy member participation and turnover of close to 250 crores. This again is heartening to see. So these are some of the product side ones. Like you rightly mentioned, ETFs by a change in regulation are already permitted to hold about 50% by way of exchange traded commodity derivatives based on gold, to be precise. So that means that up to 50% can be gold futures for an ETF. That is the construct, that is the product construct. Already on the mutual fund front, you see that 3 leading multi-asset funds are already active on our platform in terms of gold. Okay, 3 mutual funds are already active. ETF is bringing in tremendous synergies and efficiencies when you have a derivative-based indexed ETF, rather than a physical sort of a holding of gold which remains blocked forever. So that is one thing, again, innovative thought product provided by the regulatory development. So in that sense, the regulator has been absolutely proactive of late in these matters. Now, ETF, whether it should be allowed to be listed on the commodity exchange, that brings in even more efficiencies, we feel. And while the jury may still be out, we certainly feel that about 39 lakh registered clients who are actively seeing the screen in gold, who are captive eyeballs, who are fond of trading in gold on MCX, why not allow them to get more liquidity into ETFs? There are about a dozen ETFs today. We have about 13,590 crores as of 30th of September as the AUM, and majority of that has been built from March to August, or let's say from June to August, okay, because of this wave of whatever happened. Now, these ETFs carry a parallax error, or okay, let me not use any technical jargon. Whatever I mean, 1 or 2% tracking error. Okay, so that is the best efficiency that they are able to produce today. So if they are allowed on a commodity platform, it may be a good experiment to see that maybe it becomes more efficient for everybody and more liquid for everybody.
Thank you.
That's one. And the last point, which I want to actually clarify also, see, just like NSE has taken a lead in the Indian refining side of things, and they've come out it's good to expand the market. So we are, considering a history of, a lot of deliveries, and considering that those players are already active on our platform, we have come up and we are at the final stage of, launching the Indian good refiners who are going to be approved very soon. Of course, we went through a lot of stringent audits. I mean, not comparing or anything, but with due diligence. So those audits are now complete of financial nature, technical qualification nature, etc. And very soon you'll be getting to know the names of the first set of refiners who will be able to deliver in the same contract on MCX where the LBMA is being delivered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Vasubhai, I'll again come back to you. You have been in all these exchanges, you are on everybody's committee. You're also everywhere. So maybe people like you can get a fungibility between all the exchanges so that we don't have to discuss, okay, this fellow is cleared here, this fellow is cleared here. And I'm hoping that all refineries in India, which are cleared on any exchange, will be cleared on COMEX, DMCC, and maybe LBMA also. Let's target that we will reach that standard. Now, you have been having lots of ideas that we should be allowed to export bullion, and which is hopefully deliverable on international exchanges. And how do you think that we will address the taxation issue which is getting stuck into it? Maybe you can give us some thought process on that point.
सर, ये हम लोग 2015 से एक प्रयास कर रहे थे कि गोल्ड का एक्सपोर्ट होना चाहिए, क्योंकि गोल्ड में क्या हो रहा है कि हर 6 महीना डिस्पेरिटी होता है, और वो डिस्पेरिटी $50 से $60 तक चला जाता है, और सिल्वर में इस बार $4 तक डिस्पेरिटी हुआ है, $4, यानी आप $24 या $26 का सिल्वर 8% या 10% डिस्काउंट में इंडिया में चल रहा है। तो इसको एक्सपोर्ट कैसे किया जाए, क्योंकि आज हम लोग लास्ट 9 महीने से देख रहे हैं सिल्वर में आज भी डिस्पेरिटी है, अराउंड आप समझो ना 4% का डिस्पेरिटी है, $1.5 का डिस्पेरिटी चल रहा है। और हर 6-7 महीना 8 महीना जब भी सीजन नहीं है तभी गोल्ड डिस्काउंट में चला जाता है। तो हमारा एक रिक्वेस्ट गवर्नमेंट के साथ हम लोगों ने IBJ की तरफ से किया हुआ था कि आप अगर इंटरनेशनल एक्सचेंज बना रहे हो, ड्यूल साइड ट्रेड बनाइए, यानी इंडिया से गोल्ड एक्सपोर्ट भी हो सके और इंडिया में गोल्ड एंटर भी हो सके। इसके लिए आप कोई एक पासबुक, जैसे गोल्ड एक्सपोर्ट के सामने हमको जब भी इंपोर्ट का परमिशन मिले, यानी बुलियन पासबुक जैसा एक इक्विपमेंट आप उसको लॉन्च कीजिए। तो उसमें क्या होगा कि जो सप्लायर है वो यहाँ से एक्सपोर्ट भी करेगा और गिफ्ट सिटी से वही माल जब भी पैरिटी आएगा तो वो वापस FTWZ में से वापस इंपोर्ट भी कर सकते हैं। तो ये अगर गवर्नमेंट और गिफ्ट सिटी के लोग अगर इसको एग्री करते हैं तो आगे जाके ये बहुत बड़ा इनोवेशन होने वाला है इंडिया के लिए, क्योंकि एक्सचेंज के लिए तो ये काम रहेगा ही रहेगा, क्योंकि ड्यूल साइड यहाँ से माल खरीदने वाले हेज करेंगे, फिर इंटरनेशनल में एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे, वापस आएगा। दूसरा चीज एक और भी मेरे दिमाग में ये आ रहा था कि जैसे ETF है या डिजिटल गोल्ड है, जिसमें आज की तारीख में कस्टम ड्यूटी और जीएसटी इन्वॉल्व रहता है, तो वो अमाउंट है ना, वो लास्ट आप 6 साल से आप देख रहे हैं कस्टम ड्यूटी 1% से 12.5% तक गया हुआ है, और जीएसटी का भी परसेंटेज उसी तरह से शायद अभी 2% से 3%, 1% से 3% तक। तो ऐसा कोई इंटरनेशनल एक्सचेंज में ईटीएफ जो इंटरनेशनल प्राइस के थ्रू पब्लिक को दिया जाए, तो कंज्यूमर हैप्पी टू बाय दैट, कि उसको कभी भी वो अपना एक रिस्क है उसको हेज कर सकेगा। तो वो एक छोटा प्रोडक्ट रहेगा, अगर 1 ग्राम से या 10 ग्राम का या 1 आउंस बार का भी आप उसको प्रोडक्ट देते हैं, तो ये डेफिनेटली सक्सेसफुल होगा। तो बुलियन डीलर के लिए तो ये एक एक्सपोर्ट एक प्रपोजल है मेरे हिसाब से। थैंक यू।
Thank you. Nagendra ji, I'd like to ask you, you have a very active stocks lending and borrowing scheme.
Yes, sir.
Can you have this sort of a thing extended to bullion also? Because you know your controls and everything are in place. And what do you feel? Then we'll ask experts like Dilip and Amar what do you feel the liquidity will be?
So, but in terms of an idea, it's a brilliant idea. I mean, today, if you look at GML, where the manufacturers and the big jewelers are taking the metal, if that is made available on an exchange platform, definitely, I mean, it'll increase the variety of participants. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be banks who are actually supplying the metal, right? Tomorrow, let's say I throw it open on India Good Delivery, and Parker is getting enabled shortly. So Vasubhai can actually lend his metal, right? But Bhargavji, the most important thing is that there is a spot transaction which is happening, because it's the first leg and the reverse leg, right? So the first leg will be treated like a spot transaction. So we need to have enabling provisions as far as the regulations are concerned, so that from a first leg point of view, how do you actually do a settlement on T+1? It can be a T+0 settlement or T+1. And from a reverse leg point of view, again, if there is a shortfall, I mean, assuming that you have adequate collaterals, margins, mark-to-market checks, if the party who has borrowed the metal is not in a position to deliver the metal, right? So how do you, I mean, in today's equity world, we auction it, in the sense we go and buy it in the market, right? In a worst case scenario, a very negligible percentage, 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 cases, there is a financial closeout. But if we are going to do that from a guarantee mechanism, how do I ensure I buy the metal, right? Again, there has to be another spot leg created. So if you look this as a business model, it will fit in the IB framework, for the simple reason that the ED, Mr. Manoj was also talking that, they want to come up with regulations which will facilitate business, because they're more forward looking in terms of how they want to structure the entire operational framework. But here, I mean, if things are made available, I think, according to me, it'll be a brilliant business model.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Amar bhai, I think we are running short of time, so maybe everybody will have only one minute to go, 1 or 1.5 minutes to come back. Do you think that Indian vaults on option are attractive enough for a person like you to buy option in India? And how you feel if Nagendra can put in place all the checks, the lending borrowing mechanism will work?
This is to me, Bhargav bhai.
Yeah.
So I think absolutely India or any India, China, this is the market where possibly we would like as a bank to play a role. And I think step by step we are doing, and I'm looking at how, I mean, of course, we are more active in China because that's where for the bank, there's more role to play. In India, I think the role for bank is very limited as of now, what I understand. So please forgive me if I'm saying something which is not true reflection of the state of things on the ground. So I would definitely like to play a main role in the option if the opportunity is open for the banks. This is one. Coming back to your borrowing lending, I think like in SGE, all the gold lending gets booked through SGE, and that's the model which they prescribe. So I would say maybe some learning which Nagendra ji described, and they have this thing, and I think some of the thing like auction, I'm sure there are many participants who will participate to buy and sell the quantity which is desired to be to if, and maybe there is something which we can learn from SGE and possibly put through. I think this could really enable one, your forward market, two, borrowing and lending, which is very, very limited to certain clients because the banks who are active are, like they have their own, who used to have to be my client. And also I need to be comfortable, all that thing. So like people who are looking to borrow, let's say 1 kilo, 2 kilo are easily can access. So I would say this is a really brilliant ideas. I'm sure it is doable and we should definitely look to explore. This could really deepen the market further. And I think this is only one thing I know I have very short time, only one comment I'll make to all the people who are working on I would say looking at CME or SG or many other market globally. Just to tell you, JP Morgan Securities is member at 120 exchanges or maybe more in various markets. Not limited to commodities, everything. I would say to continue the kind of liquidity we desire, I would say all of us we need more product, but don't make so many products that liquidity starts moving away. Of course, the liquidity will remain where the people have interest. But I think, yes, we can have all kind of products we can imagine, but possibly liquidity will remain on only certain contract where people have interest, whether it is risk management, whether it is trading requirement, or possibly anything else. So I'll take a pause. Thank you, Bhargav.
Thank you. Dilip bhai, you have vast experience on dealing desk on both sides. Now, would you think that with your experience, would you think that people will be interested in new products of lending and borrowing in a local refinery bar? And short period stuffs can be workable, or any other structure which you may suggest?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Bhargav. I'll put it very short. I mean, yes, definitely another alternate of lending would definitely in the retail world, it would definitely help in India. And two things to it. People are, as someone mentioned here, I think Mr. Vasubhai mentioned, the metal loan is quite popular all over, and the retailers are quite used to that. But having said that, an alternate to that would definitely be welcomed. But only thing is, again, I repeat, the awareness has to be made. The lack of awareness is still there, and I still feel that because now I'm sitting in, as I earlier mentioned, sitting in the other side of the table, I feel that there is a lot more to be explained to the retailers, and that would really help the retailers to leverage on any new product like what you're mentioning.
Shivanshu bhai, there have been a lot of suggestions which have come, and you have been sitting at a place which where the Indian Commodity Exchange restarted. I will not say started, we said restarted because we had a glorious past even in prior to 60s. How you feel you will address all this suggestions which has come, and which products, like, you used to always like to say that bhau bola jata hai MCX minus ya MCX plus. Then you think that you are going to launch something like EFP?
Very interesting point, Bhargav bhai. In fact, I was listening to what Nagendra rightly said and what Amar added. Let me add further to that. SCRA doesn't really accommodate below T+11. But having said that, essentially we have a non-articulated but yet effective EFP running in the country because everybody is pricing MCX plus minus. They are trying to derive a spot based on that future. So definitely there is a latent hunger, appetite for that. If we had a T0, T1 kind of concept, which we have been literally asking for a long time. You see, on one platform, okay, irrespective of definitions or whatever they may be, then you would have that ideal borrowing or lending mechanism. But anyway, that is proof of that exists, that it is taking place in the futures when we have a contango based rollover in MCX, and every bi-monthly you have a healthy delivery happening. So even if we have monthly bi-monthly deliveries, if we can see 3,500 tons of silver delivered so far, imagine how much more spot to futures integration it can bring if we have a T0 T1 concept within the futures framework. So that could be one real enabler of borrowing and lending. And I'm aware that bullion is not permitted for borrowing or lending otherwise till now. That being what it is, with no prejudice towards that, I say that this can enable a quasi system of borrowing and lending if we have a spot based. Yeah.
Just one sec. The banks are not allowed, but privately you can borrow or lend bullion. That's the legal position. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, great. No, I think you're right. So that way, in fact, a borrowing or lending is actually what is reflecting in the contango which prevails between the 2 months. Even so, when we gave the example of silver disparities, Vasubhai rightly said 3,500, 5,000 rupees here and there. Even then, we saw it converge at our deliveries by 140 tons, 12-year high of delivery in silver. So there is a latent appetite for a spot to futures kind of EFP concept. And if we were to able to get such a permission, it would be absolutely ideal.
Thank you. Nagendra ji, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Quick 30 seconds. See, the way EFP works in the model that we have developed is, if Dilip wants a metal in Cochin, right? He just trades his normal futures position, Ahmedabad-based pricing. 5 days before the delivery period actually starts, he can get into the system. He can place his intention saying, I want to metal tomorrow, right? Tomorrow at Cochin. If there is somebody who's willing to deliver the metal, they can get into a transaction. The futures position will get knocked off. And it is an EFP with a location swap. It doesn't have to be Cochin. It can be Delhi. It can be Bombay, right? It is a very simple model, but depending on premium of discount, the prices are getting factored in. That is the first point. The second point is that, I don't have big numbers to talk about other than my options numbers, and people who are attending this event, if any of you have any needs with respect to bullion, how you want to use your futures or options, we have got into a consulting mode free of cost, and you give us an opportunity. I'm sorry to use this to make my marketing pitch, right? We will ensure that you will get benefited. Right? You just give us an opportunity, whatever may be your need, we will structure something for you, so that, end of the day, it is a win-win for both of us. Thanks, Bhargav. Bye.
Thank you. Srivastav ji, do we have time? Then one last word from everybody on spot exchange. Okay, one last word only. We have 1 minute only. Amar, what do you think about future of spot exchange in India, and how should we go about it?
I think based on my experience, I think we do need, whether it is Gift City, whether we need other exchange. I think one thing as a, like LBMA member, as well as LBMA core member, as well as, like one of the main counterparty for India, I would say some of these India good delivery credential has to be really, really solid. Let's not compromise if you really want global participation, because as you know, every day there is a bigger scanner from whether it's where are you sourcing from, all these kind of things. So guys, one suggestion from me, because I feel this industry as my family, just please put extra attention on there. That's it.
Thank you very much. I think Srivastav ji, we have finished in time. So most of them are entitled to their 100 grams of gold, which you promised. And let me thank the panelists. And I'm sure the entire audience will return home more knowledgeable. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Srivastav ji. Thanks,
Thank you very much, Bhargav bhai, and thank you very much to all the panelists. Mr. Nagendra Kumar, NSE, Mr. Shivanshu Mehta from MCX, Mr. Haresh Acharya from Parker Precious Metals, Mr. Dilip Narayanan from Malabar Group of Company, and Mr. Amar Singh from JP Morgan for a wonderful discussion. And thank you, Bhargav Bhai, for articulating the issues so very well. I'm so sorry to push you because we had only 45 minutes for this session. I hope you understand that one. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
thank you.
With this, we come to the end of the second session. Thank you all. And with this, you can continue. Those who want to continue networking can continue to do the networking. And with that, we don't have any further session for the day, but tomorrow, please do join us at 2 p.m. We have the executive director of SEBI giving us a special address tomorrow as the first session, and then we continue with 2 panel discussions followed by a price outlook session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. God bless
Everyone.
you. All of you stay safe. Thanks, guys.
Nice meeting. Thank you. Bye.